What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Deej. I've never been the type of person to make a film breakdown video before. Not a film breakdown or a game breakdown video per se, but oh my goodness. Game 1 of the NBA Finals was outstanding. And in my mind, there's so many ideas, so many things in my head going around. It's to the point, literally, I can't sleep right now because that bad. The Indiana Pacers, man, they're legit. They are very underrated. They've been the underdog pretty much in every single series you would think. I think maybe they were picked in the Bucks series, but like the Cavs, that was seen as a mismatch. They won that one. And you're just seeing a repeated theme. Man, Tyrese Halliburton, it's like you doubt him, but then in the clutch, man, he continues to just hit game-winning shot, and it's been every series. Literally, it's been every series. Tyrese Halliburton right now is on a generational run, generational clutch run right now. It is ridiculous what this dude is doing right now. It's crazy because Indiana had 25 they ended this game with 25 turnovers. They had 18. It was 18 or 19. 18 in the first half. It was sporadic. Not to mention, though, they were only down by 12. It was 57-45 heading into half, and they had already turned the ball over 18 times. Tyrese Halliburton, I think at that point, only had like 6 or 8 points. And it's crazy because despite the turnovers, OKC only had 11 points off turnovers. And normally when OKC turns the ball over, when OKC forces you to turn the ball over, that basically generates the majority of their offense to where they score. That's what they feed. It's like they feed off that. They feed off of it. They feed off the turnovers that you give them. They feed off those opportunities, and that's why too it's simple. Like when you're playing a team like OKC, that is the #1 rated defense that's been throughout the playoffs in the NBA. You don't turn the ball over. It's simple. Don't turn the ball over. Don't give them the ball. But it's crazy too. Indiana exposed something very key about the Oklahoma City Thunder that makes them beatable, especially after this stunning game win versus, and what a game this was. Indiana wins 111-110. Let's go through the stats real quick. SGA, phenomenal. 38 points, 5 rebounds, and he only had 3 assists. And that is alarming a bit. But he did have 3 steals. He was really good on the defensive end, but also too, he was pretty good on the defensive end, but also too, it kind of exposed something as well, that we're gonna get to in a moment. J-Dub didn't have his was okay, but didn't have his best game. Only 17 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. I think it was like 7 of 18 shooting. Didn't quite have the best shooting night. Lou Dort was terrific on both sides of the ball. He had timely threes. He had 15 points, 4 steals, 2 blocks. But Chet Holmgren, who they put Isaiah Hartenstein on the bench. This was a notable change too that I recognized at the start of the game. Oklahoma City Thunder, they made a change. They started Chet at the center position. They started him at the 5, and then they benched Isaiah Hartenstein, and they started Cason Wallace. Cason Wallace, who played 33 minutes tonight, only had 6 points, and as you know, allowed the game-winning shot versus Tyrese Halliburton, who was guarding him. So, that's something pretty alarming, per se. Again, it's been Hartenstein at the 5, Chet at the 4, then you have J-Dub at the 3, Shea, and then Lou Dort, but they made that notable switch there. So, very, very interesting that Mark Daigneault decided to switch things up. And to a degree, it worked, but Chet Holmgren not showing up, he was like 2 of 9, 6.6 rebounds, 1 block. It's not going to cut it. It's not enough. It's crazy too. The Indiana Pacers, they didn't have nobody did not score 20 or more points tonight. Nobody reached the 20-point mark. However, it was a balanced scoring attack throughout. Siakam, led the way with 19 points, 10 rebounds, and a block. Obi Toppin, 17 points, 5 rebounds. Obi Toppin was horrible in like the first 5. He had like 3, 4, 5 turnovers within the first 5 minutes of the game. It looked like he was on his way to a terrible game, but shook that off and was awesome this game. And that just goes to show you how deep Indiana is. They have their depth is elite. They have elite depth. they don't really have maybe the superstar caliber, right, of a player. Even Tyrese Haliburton. To me, Tyrese Haliburton has cemented himself as a superstar. I don't want to hear it no more. I don't want to hear it no more about anybody like Stephen A. Smith, who's been saying he's not a superstar. Like Kendrick Perkins, who has this weird superstar term where you gotta, it's the LeBrons, the Steph, which is opposites. Yes, those are superstars, but like other guys like Luke, he's saying rising superstars like Luka and Shea and even Halliburton are rising superstars. Like there's no rising. This is, they have risen to the top to me as a superstar, right? And you had Andrew Nembhard again. He had 14 points. Didn't have his best shooting night, but in the clutch, hits the shot off the. I mean, cooks SGA, hits an incredible dribble between the moves, step back three pointer. He had 8 points in the last 5 minutes of the game. OKC blew a 15-point lead. Mind you, they had 15 points. And Indiana exposed them. Indiana did. They exposed something. The three-point shooting. The three-point shooting is a problem. And it's been a problem. It's been hidden with OKC's elite defensive play. And then, of course, them feeding off those turnovers that you give that like Minnesota, Memphis, even Denver to an extent. Like, it really hides the fact that OKC's three-point shooting scene. And one thing that, it was Hoop Reference, I think, that I watched on YouTube. There was one thing that he compared. It was the three-point shooting. Oklahoma City throughout this postseason. And what's hurting them too, what's hurting the three-point shooting too for OKC is Chet Holmgren not being aggressive on the offensive end consistently. And also, he's shooting 33%. The team as a whole is shooting 33%. Actually, too, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander hasn't been great from three either. Obviously, he's an elite three-level scorer, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not an elite three-point shooter. He's not at a higher volume. Shai only shoots about 6 to 7 three-pointers a game. He's not a high-volume three-point shooter. That's not really his game. He can knock the three down, and he shot over 37% from three this past season, but Shai is not a high-volume three-point shooter, maybe compared to an Anthony Edwards, who led the NBA in threes, shot over 10 threes a game, made 40% and was led the NBA in threes this year. Steph Curry and Malik Beasley, all those other guys. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, too, up into the playoffs, was shooting only about 30% from three as well. So their three-point shooting is a problem. And then it showed in this game. Again, only 11 points off the 25 turnovers that they had. And they couldn't score. And their offense, too, it kind of just went stale at some points, too. It was pretty much Shai gave you a bucket, but nobody else. Nobody else could give you a bucket. And again, Chet Holmgren not being able to be a great, I think, too, J-Dub not having his best shooting efficient night. It's alarming. It's alarming. And again, Nembhard, 8 points in the last 5 minutes. Even Aaron Nesmith, 10 points, 12 rebounds. And look, Tyrese Haliburton probably, again, was pretty quiet throughout this game, up until the game. And I agree with my boy. Wasn't really having the best shooting night. Wasn't really having the best game. It was to the point, too, you had Richard Jefferson saying, you had Halliburton out here putting up tour dates for numbers. Tour dates. Well, I tell you one thing, and I said it like this. I said, Playboy Cardi once said this: I only take her to tour dates. I'm a rock star, but I can't date. And Tyrese Haliburton, when the show looked like it was going stale, he was the main rock star that took over and really gave us a show, and he silenced the OKC crowd and the fan base with that three-point shot. I mean, it was a stunning, and it's crazy. Me and my stepmom, we were watching the game in the living room, and then Shai misses the potential game, dagger or shot, which would have probably been the dagger. And then Nesmith gets the rebound. Obi Toppin gets the ball, dribbles it half court. He gives it to Obi Toppin, and then Haliburton gets the matchup with Cason Wallace, gets it past the three-point line, pulls up from the mid-range and nails it. And I just jumped out of the couch and went nuts. I was like, he did it again. I'm like, he did it again. Milwaukee, first round series, scores a game-winning layup versus Giannis Antetokounmpo, blows by Giannis, one of the best defensive players in the NBA and probably one of the best defensive players of all time, blows by him, game-winning layup. Cleveland series, hits a game winner Again, only a 19-point game. He had a 19 point, not that night, but still misses the free throw, gets the offensive rebound, nearly stumbles, loses his balance, keeps his balance, dribbles back to the 3-point line, and then cooks Ty Jerome, hits a step back game-winning 3-pointer. Hits that. New York Knicks series, and my boys, they're not going to like me for, again, bringing it back up, but it's just the truth. The man keeps doing this. Game winner, or not even a game winner, his toe was on the line, which it would, and again, these are 4-game winners. These are 3-game winners in a tying shot. One that should have been a game if his foot wasn't on the line. Hits a step back 3-pointer, gets the lucky bounce, and it goes in. This game right here doesn't have the best night. Maybe isn't aggressive as he should have been. Hit some timely shots when it mattered most. And again, Dorsberg highlighted this too. Again, 8 points in the last 5 minutes. He took over too within this game. He was the aggressor. They actually too. The adjustments that Indiana made, and to me, this is to me what could really help Indiana potentially. And again, look, this series is long from over. Indiana they got 3 more to go, but this to me gives them momentum to really pull off an incredible upset versus Oklahoma City, because to me, Oklahoma City is still a great team. I think they still are the better team, and it's kind of me feeling like I'm still doubting Indiana, but man, it's like this could cost OKC the series. This could cost NBA the finals. Like, we've been talking about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander adding a championship to his already MVP season. It would be very incredible if Tyrese Haliburton were to take that away from him. It's been Shai all year, even with the MVP toss from Nikola Jokic. How about if Tyrese Haliburton wins if he beats him, leads this Indiana Pacers team, and wins the championship? That will be crazy. That will be incredible. And what if he too doesn't even win Finals MVP? What if they give it to Pascal Siakam again? Right, how he did with the last one. How crazy would that be? There was a fan too that even tweeted that read the script. He literally called the whole thing. He called the score, and he called Tyrese Haliburton his game winner. He called it. It was crazy. And it showed to a lot of things about Indiana. Their winning spirit, their heart. And I was telling my boy this throughout. Like, they play 48 minutes. They don't quit. They don't quit, regardless of how the game is going. Until that shot clock it turns 0. They play a full 48 minutes, regardless of the result. It is crazy. It's just amazing. Tyrese Haliburton, again, 14 points, 10 rebounds. He had 3 turnovers, but he had 6 assists. He had a block and hits the game winner. This dude is on a generational run, and it would be incredible if he were to cap this off with a ring. It would be crazy. And again, I don't want to jinx it or anything, because again, this series is long from over. OKC, they'll probably make adjustments, continue to make adjustments, but okay, all I say is this: OKC better lock in. Like, they better lock in, and they better be careful, because to me, and another thing too, I don't expect them, the Indiana Pacers. I expect them to make adjustments. I expect Rick Carlisle to say, "Hey, we got this one, we got this dub, but we can't have more games where we're turning. OKC 2 is still too good. We can't have every game is different. You can't have games where you're turning the ball over 25 times a night. You're not gonna win. We can't win a championship like this. Well, they proved that they can win a game, but you can't win a championship turning the ball over like that. We have to slow it down." And they made the adjustment in the second half. They made the adjustment. They slowed the pace. They slowed it down. Then they got going. And then to me, it was Miles Turner just also too being incredible, showing how. And to me, that's another thing I wanted to highlight. I think too, and this might be small, but it might be small. It might seem small, but it's really big. Whoa, whatever. That was crazy. But it might seem small, like in an aspect here, but it might seem bigger in an aspect here. Whereas you got Chet Holmgren and Miles Turner. Miles Turner to me is the better center. I think Miles Turner is the better center, and I think he outplayed it. As you see, he outplayed both Isaiah Hartenstein, even though Isaiah Hartenstein came in and really gave you a spark off the bench. Again, he outplayed both. He had 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Like, it was crazy. I didn't even write this down on my notes. It's just crazy, man. And that's another thing. Miles Turner can also space the floor. He's not a traditional center. Like, he can space the floor, and he's an elite defender, can protect the rim, can protect the paint. And to me, the Pacers have that. They have the center advantage. They have the better big man, in my opinion. That was a better way to say that. My apologies for that weird analogy earlier. That was definitely out of context on my part, so my bad on that. But that was another thing, and to me, it was another thing. It highlighted Indiana they have to hit shots. They've got to hit shots. They've got to create for themselves. They have to hit. And that was another thing too. Indiana, it wasn't, because OKC's defense, they were, when you're passing it around like left and right, their hands are everywhere. So OKC's hands, you can pass it here, and that's why what led to a lot of turnovers. They're passing the ball so much but still, OKC is an elite defensive team. They can trap. You get the ball low, they'll swipe it. Lou Dort was getting timely steals. Like Lou Dort again, 4 steals in this game. Like, it's crazy. But what they did, they slowed the pace down. They settled down. They turned the turnovers way down. They only went from 18 to just 7 in the second. Still a good bit, but still. And that's another thing. Like if Indiana can limit their turnovers, they can win this series. I really do. They have a chance. They have a legit chance. And I think too, like, man, this Indiana Pacers team and even Tyrese Haliburton continues to be underrated. Like even I've underrated them a lot, and they're showing everybody like, hey, we belong here. Like we're not just this average or above average team. No, we're pretty darn good. We're a deep team. We got a champion for a head coach. We play at our pace and we live or die by it. And they've had a lot of success. And then again, like just the elite, and again, it was really those secondary guys like an Andrew Nembhard being aggressive. And it's like too how ESPN and SportsCenter highlighted, we're gonna run the offense through you, Andrew Nembhard. And then Andrew Nembhard cooks Shea again off the dribble, hits a huge 3-pointer, step back 3-pointer, cooks his former Canadian and best friend there, cooks him on defense. And again, they went after, and I think that's going to be something too. This will be a test, I think, for both Indiana and Shea. Indiana, they're probably, even though Shea is a good defender, he's not their best defender. He's probably their worst perimeter defender. So what do? Go after him. Because too, he already has to use a lot of energy scoring because again, he had 38 points. But a lot of the energy, he's got to put that on the offensive end. If you can tire Shea out with him already scoring the points and then go after him defensively, after getting those buckets on the offensive end, you can create that. And then if you're Tyrese Haliburton, score on him. Don't even pass. Score. Go after Shea. So they've identified to me a defensive liability in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to an extent. Shea is a good defender. Don't get it twisted, but he's probably their worst perimeter defender, or maybe he's probably their second least defender, right? Maybe compared to an Isaiah Joe. Like, that's one thing. And then again, just the timely 3-point shots, creating for themselves. Miles Turner hits the bank shot, hits that off the glass, then hits the big man. They just hit shot after shot after shot. And then with OKC going cold on 3, and then not being able to get more offensive going, and then with them not scoring off the turnovers, despite, Indiana, not having their best night, they just kept fighting. They kept fighting, and they just, when it mattered most, they gave their ball to their guy, and Tyrese Haliburton does it again. To me, like, again, I don't want to hear it no more. There's nothing else you can tell me. Like, to me, Tyrese Haliburton is the next quintessential point guard superstar. Like, there's no doubt about it. He continues to just be clutch and just hit game winners, clutch shots, and he'll have that game. And yeah, he'll have some egg games. He'll have some games where he won't even show up. He'll disappear. But after that, he'll come right back and hit you with an incredible game. So I just wanted to come in and I just wanted to make that video, man. Like, what a win for the Pacers tonight. Game 1. We'll see what game 2 brings. I think they'll be back in Indiana. So maybe let's see if OKC can respond, tie the series, and really make it a series and get back on track. Or will Indiana carry momentum and maybe take a 2-0, a shocking 2-0 lead. We'll see. The series isn't over. Still 3 more to go for Indiana. OKC's got to lock in, but, we'll see if they can get it together and really get things going. So, we'll see there. But I'm DJ Jones, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, sorry for that earlier moment there. My apologies. And y'all have a blessed night. Peace.